A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. At that time, King Herod heard of Jesus, for his name had become known. Some said John the Baptist had been raised from the dead. That is why these powers are at work in him. But others said, it is Elijah, and others said, it is a prophet, like one of the prophets of old. But when Herod heard of it, he said, John, whom I beheaded, has been raised. For Herod had sent and seized John and bound him in prison for the sake of Herodias, his brother Philip's wife, because he had married her. For John said to Herod, it is not lawful for you to have your brother's wife. And Herodias had a huge grudge against him and wanted to kill him, but she could not, for Herod feared John, knowing that he was a righteous and holy man, and kept him safe. When he heard him, he was much perplexed, and yet he heard him gladly. But an opportunity came when Herod on his birthday gave a banquet for his courtiers and officers and the leading men of Galilee. For when Herodias' daughter came in and danced, she pleased Herod and his guests, and the king said to the girl, ask me for whatever you wish, and I will grant it. And he vowed to her, whatever you ask me, I will give you, even half of my kingdom. And she went out and said to his mother and to her mother, what shall I ask? And she said, the head of John the Baptist. And she came in immediately with haste to the king and asked, saying, I want you to give me at once the head of John the Baptist on a platter. And the king was exceedingly sorry, but because of his oaths and his guests, he did not want to break his words to her. And immediately the king sent a soldier of the guard and gave orders to bring in his head. He went and beheaded him in the prison and brought his head on a platter and gave it to the girl, and the girl to her mother. When the disciples heard of it, they came and took his body and laid it in the tomb. The Gospel of the Lord. Glory to Jesus. Did Jesus know that John the Baptist will die like this?
No.
You have all entered into trouble. How can you say the
master of the world?
Look, it is important for you to understand this. When you are within the ambience where God dwells, you don't use human intelligence to answer spiritual questions. And this is a general thing every one of us needs to understand. You can use human intelligence to contend with human beings, with humanoids. But that is where it ends. It does not go beyond. When you want to now contend with principalities, with powers, with rulers of darkness in this world, with ancient demons that have been there before the world was created, with the spiritual wickedness in the high places, you cannot make use of human intelligence. This is just a good example, even though I'm citing the negatives of powers. But even at that, they said whoever is to worship God should worship God in spirit and in truth. I myself am still confused whether you heard the question I asked first. I'm confused whether you heard well, because the no hit me in my chest. I want to ask you again, do you think Jesus Christ knew how John the Baptist was going to die?
Yes.
Why shouldn't he know? It's very, very ordinary. Jesus is God. He is omnipotent, he is omniscient, he is omnipresent. He is all-knowing. Have you not heard or read several in the gospel where Jesus Christ knew the thoughts of what people were thinking in their hearts and he voiced it out? Why are you having these kinds of thoughts in your mind? You think that's an ordinary person? But even we human beings receive revelation. How dare anyone now take, how can you take for a word that Jesus did not know? when many of us receive revelation. There are many of you here who will dream, and then it must happen before the month ends. It means you know beforehand. And they've gotten used to it. Once they dream, they already know that this was going to happen. Some of them can't go and tell the people. I'm talking about common human beings. They've not even excelled in spiritual activities. Common human beings who will dream, and their dream always come true. There are human beings who will be inside the bus. Once they enter the bus, they will see somebody that will die within that week. But they can't start telling the person. Well, some of them can just tell the person to pray against death and all that. A lot of people are doing this, and then they are saying Jesus Christ didn't know how John the Baptist is going to die. So let us not emphasize on that. Now, the main emphasis here is Jesus knew exactly how John the Baptist was going to die. Yeah, that's his first cousin, number one. Number two, not just cousin. Let us remove relationship from this. John the Baptist is the forerunner of Jesus Christ. The importance of John the Baptist to the coming of Jesus Christ is too powerful. In my childish mind, I was thinking that both of them will form a tag team to overthrow the Roman Empire, to kill all the demons. Kill all the demons, kill all of them. Because they have tempted so many people. But we must understand the mind of God in order for us to understand, first of all, our own lives and then the lives of others around us. The mind of God. That things have become so depraved like this still does not change the ancients of ancients. It's the reason why I'm very much afraid today, especially about our children. You know, the ancients of ancients had taboos. Let us leave Christianity out of this. It wasn't Christianity that taught us not to steal. It was not Christianity that taught us not to fornicate. It was not Christianity that taught us not to be involved in adultery. It was not Christianity that taught us not to lie. We already had this in our traditions before now, yes or no? Yes. Far before Christianity came, men didn't touch other men's wives. Adultery was a taboo. Stealing was a taboo. Those who sell goats could leave their goats in the market peacefully. They didn't tie any red and white rope put the way it is now. You couldn't go and steal somebody's yam in the farm. It was unimaginable. Today, if you don't put a strong fence on your yam farm, you will come and think your yam is growing, not knowing that the seed yam that is now growing under. They have removed the tuber, and then they cover it, put small grass on top. You will pass and you'll be nodding your head. You will not clear over the farm, not knowing that no yam inside anymore, because the leaves are still green. So, Christianity only came to show us a higher life, not really to start fighting all these small moral problems, to show us a higher life, to reveal to us how to operate as gods. Our normal cultures and traditions of the ancient times already have this ancient code. We call it ancient code of judgment. The ancient code of judgment has not changed. But you can know that modern man has changed. Yes. And modern man changed and thinking that the ancient code has changed. That's the biggest mistake we've made. So that fathers today now teach their sons how to steal and how to lie in the business world. You just plunge your child to contravene the ancient code. Ancient codes that don't change. So that's why I said, if we understand the mind of God, because God is the ancient of ancients, most ancient of all ancients, most ancient of all mysteries. Most ancient of all mysteries. When you are dealing with demons and darkness, you are dealing with ancients. They are ancient spirits, they don't change. That's why you can see that things that are light have remained light. Things that are darkness have remained darkness. It's not changed. At that level, at that spiritual realm, nothing changes. Why then do we think? Because we now have cars. Because we're no longer moving with camels and horses. Because we now have cars, that means life has changed. Okay, because we are no longer using our legs to move. Was the leg not for mobility? Every single source of mobility, whether it's aeroplane or ship or car, they are performing what the leg can perform, only to take longer time. Who told you need to go to the other worlds, by the way? Whatever we have now, don't call it civilization. It is human behavior that determines civilization, not the new things that appear. Because this old car you are seeing came from this ground. Every facet of it, anything. What about the money we are talking about? We will now name it dollar. We name it naira. We name it yen. we name it pounds, we name it euro. They are all wood, firewood. Why do we have to name them those different names? They are all firewood. See, the firewood is the original mind of God. All those naira, all those, they are papers made from wood. They mill the paper first before they print it on them. That is the will of man. If you understand the will of God, you will be master over everything. Those things that are changing will change you. They will be changing. They will be like when water enters into cold place, the water will become cold. When water enters into hot place, water will become hot. But water remains water. Understanding the mind of God is one of the ways by which one can gain wisdom today. So when we understand the mind of God, we can better understand the reason why we are here. And then we can better understand the reason why the world around us is the way it is. So we'll be able to relate well with ourselves, with the world around us, in such a way that we are pleasing the mind of God. Having said this, I want to let you understand that Jesus Christ didn't need to go and defend John the Baptist. Jesus Christ didn't need to align with John the Baptist to save the world, because the mind of God is such as that you that are sitting down here, those Jesus Christ we're going to speak to are already gods. This is the reason why when I was growing, truly, I was always asking, because I have come to discover that a human being has multiplicities of temptation. And each temptation has a demon that fosters it. So a man can be followed by numerous demons. They are shouting in his head all the various bad things he is to do. Yet, when he does one bad thing, the only one guardian angel God has sent to that person may have left. But the person still cannot lose hope. Why? Because the person is even greater than his guardian angel. You are a God. Whether you accept it or not, if you are not seeing the way life is now, if you are not seeing it the way life is, then you can decide not to accept it. But look at the way life is. That's to show you that this is exactly the explanation for the reason why people tend towards evil the more. Because the temptation for evil are governed by numerous fallen angels that are pushing man to act in contravention to God. But do you notice that even man himself in his body is the fullness of God's will? That's the reason why you go and pee. The meaning of pee is that every single thing God arranged in you is working well. That's why you can go and pee. That's why you can go to the toilet. Why is it that your body is in compliance with every single detail of God's will, but your behavior are not? You think about it. I say you are a God. You were the one that was assigned this body, this machine, this solid, complex machine that God created, that these spirits are jealous about. You were the one to whom God assigned it. You are a God. You have control. But they don't have control of anything. It's the reason why they are forcing themselves to possess us. There is no human being that does not have choice. There is no human being that does not have choice. Number one, Jesus Christ had the choice not to die. I hope you know. Yes. His choice, nobody can even compete with that choice. He had the choice. But he decided to say, I have come to do your will. When the temptation became hard, can you imagine somebody who rose people from death, himself dying? What kind of talk is that? Somebody who multiplied loaves and fish, himself will go fasting. What kind of talk is that? What need had Jesus Christ to even pray when he himself is the one that answers prayer? Look, he was just giving us example. He who had all the power still had choice to abandon that power and to live under the authority of the Father. And then he says, all that I see the Father do is what I do. Come on. So he had choice. He just came to tell us that we have choices. We have choices. Everyone. When there's good and bad before you, oh my God, you have choice. You either have choice to fight the evil and embrace the good, or to abandon the good and embrace evil. So God knows that he's dealing with God. He cannot change his edict. You cannot even change it. You and I cannot change it. That's the reason why Jesus Christ came for the last time to give man the secrets to life and to living. So when it was time to remove the head of John the Baptist, did you hear that angels came to defend it not to happen? You think that's the problem? That is not the problem. If they have not severed the head of John the Baptist before, it will still be severed by the time his body starts decaying. It will still be severed. That's not the problem. The body was not John the Baptist. Didn't you hear? The body was not John the Baptist. The body that Elizabeth and Zachariah betted was not that of Elijah. Yet, when John the Baptist came, they said, in case you don't know, if you like, believe. If you like, don't believe. This is Elijah that is to come. Is it body that determines identity? Who told you they touched John the Baptist? They could not touch John the Baptist. They separated his head from his body. That's the instrument. It's like somebody carrying the cutlass you use in walking and then breaks the handle or tears the cutlass into two. So you can't use the cutlass anymore. You can throw that cutlass away if you like. Go and buy a new one. If you like, you change business. Isn't it? You can go and buy a new one to begin to continue your farming. Or you just change business and go and get another tool that they cannot break. When a human being dies, that's actually what happens. Some of them would use their entire spirit to come back. That's why you hear somebody dies in Benin. You go and hear he has gotten married in Kano and he has children. If you ever think that this thing is fake, you are a child. You are a serious child. Serious child. But many souls, many spirits, once you spoil their body, they dump it, they go to a higher plane. It doesn't matter where you are. Good is good, bad is bad. If you are here, it's either you're in heaven or in hell through your character. If you're in the spirit world, it's either you're in heaven or hell through what you have sown here. So we need to understand the mind of God in order for us to become wise enough to tackle this earth. Otherwise, if you want to use human wisdom to attack all the things that happen, you will fall many times. There is a young girl that is on wheelchair currently that keeps, no matter the sublimity of truth you tell her, she keeps accusing God. Why does God allow evil happen? Why does God allow evil happen? You think that inspiration is coming from God? There are demons, classified demons that perpetually tell her that, look, if God really loves you, why would he allow you be in wheelchair? And so she continues. She does not see beyond the flesh. They divert her mind to her fellow girls that are working, that are doing fine girls around city. So her mind is nowhere else. Her mind is just that her mates are doing fine girls around city. Her mate has given birth to children. Her mate have gotten married and so on. Those are the things, all those things that are useless to eternity, are the things that even her Christianity are geared towards. I want to tell you this, that there are classifications of demons that are denying that child from seeing the exaltation of her being. Why? So before we start asking, why did God allow her to be on a wheelchair? We should first of all ask, why did Jesus Christ, look at the closeness between Jesus and John the Baptist. Why did Jesus Christ not stop the kind of death that John the Baptist was to die? So we must be very careful, because we do not live this life by means of our intelligence alone. John the Baptist did something good and they killed him for it. But there is one thing John the Baptist did that the devil could not stop. Do you know the number of people that he saved with that body that they detached the head from? That body walked. Oh my God. I want to ask you, did the body succeed in fulfilling destiny? You don't know? Did he not clearly open the way? He has already finished baptizing Jesus Christ. He has already showed that is the Lamb of God. He has already gathered disciples who are going to follow Jesus Christ. It was from his disciples that many followed him as apostles. He fulfilled destiny complete. Nothing remained. Perfect. So what was his body? He was the first to deal with that body. The body that he dealt with. Did you hear that Eba entered into that body? You that is pursuing me up and down. Oh God. Did you hear that fried rice entered into that body? He was eating locust. He was eating worm. He was eating, how do they call it? The larvae of insects and honey. So is it that body you want to admire? He already dealt with that body. So the person that came to want to sever the heads on the body did not do one thing. One. There was no action taken. When you know the mind of God, you become mighty. Any plan they plan against you, it is laugh. They will see you laughing. Amen. Understand the mind of God, because truth is staring at us in the eyes, but we just come with some simple synthesis of God's word, and then after we finish, we forget. Nothing enters our spirits. We are not energized. We are not powerful. But these are the real words of God. Did you hear that Jesus Christ mourned for 1 second that they killed John the Baptist? Who told you they killed John the Baptist? Oh, so it is important to learn, my dear brothers and sisters. You see, the Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Whom shall I dread? He says, though an army encamp against me, my heart will not fear. Though war break out against me, even then would I trust. My dear friends, return to the Lord. The only thing that we need to do is to fulfill destiny. How do we fulfill destiny? Say, let brotherly love continue. Do not neglect to show hospitality to those who need it. For thereby some have entertained angels, thinking they were entertaining men. Remember those who are in prison, those in prison with them. Remember those who are ill-treated. Anywhere you are, it is your business to fight for those that have been oppressed. Let marriage be held in honor among all. Adultery is, when Jesus Christ was to describe the curse that was on the generation that seeks for fire, he said, this is an adulterous generation. And that's what many of us are teaching our sons. Many of us are teaching our daughters. The road to perversion. He says, let the marriage bed be undefiled. And then Ishan men now said it's meant for women, not meant for men. I say this publicly and into this recording. Ishan men, you people are the one that said, now only women they forbid. Men, not they forbid. I grew up to hear that statement countless number of times. Because God will judge the immoral and the adulterous. So we now plant a platform for our sons to be destroyed. Perpetually destroyed. And then we take it as a right. Because one culture. And who created that culture? Who created that culture? He says, keep your life free from love of money. I've already explained that. Money was introduced by Satan. In case you don't know, you should know. Because the real money is the good you're able to do. That paper, they now carve wood, now slice it, now plane it, and then print on it. And they now say that is the value of your competence. How can they use Naira to define the value of my competence? And then you see men. That's the reason why even those who don't work now can have Naira. Because the devil made it in such a way. If you are a doctor, can somebody steal your doctorate? If you are treating somebody, can somebody steal the treatment that you treated the person? Can another person come to say, I was the one that treated that person? Even the person himself will say, you are a liar. Did you see me? So the trade of your hand, can somebody come to steal your trade? You went to farm and pull Gary, somebody will say, na you pull am. You plant Gary, somebody will say, na you plant am. The skills you have, can it be stolen? But they can steal your money. That's the trick of Satan. When Jesus says money is the root of all evil, notice that it is competence, professionalism that brings money. So he didn't say our profession is the root of all evil. He says money. There is a reason why I said that. So understand what is happening in your world. I said, if you know the mind of God, you will know yourself, you will know your neighbors, you will know the world, and you will be wiser enough to attend to the things of the world. So my dear brothers and sisters, the gift that you received this morning is to draw closer to God. Understanding the mind of God daily is our task in order for us to gain wisdom that will enable us to live life to the full.